song. All the little birds on Jaybird Street love to hear the robin go tweet, 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 rockin' robin, tweet.
This is where the action begins, folks. This is called the Clubhouse, and it is the home of Phil White and his wife, Kathleen, and anybody who comes to town to swim. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's on Lake Memphremagog, a lake where I grew up. And I'll turn around, and there's the lake. And there's Kathleen and her grandchild. Hi, Kathleen.
Hello.
Okay, I just get a little background. Oh, and hello, how are you? Haven't seen you for ages.
No, I haven't. Your hair's a lot longer.
My hair has grown. And there's a young man. Hello.
Not bad, yourself?
Not bad. This place is always full of action. And what can I say? They've done a beautiful job. The names you see on this wall are the people who have swum the entire length of Lake Memphremagog from Newport right up to Magog. And I believe there might be somebody up there who's done it twice in one 50-hour period. Unsure. I'll ask those questions when I interview Phil and Kathleen. In the meantime, isn't this lovely? Welcome to Life is Good. You'll never guess who I have with me today. Local organizers, international bringer-inners, people who probably brought more economy improvement into this area than anyone else I know. We have Phil White and his better half, Kathleen Marcil. And we've just had the distance runners. After this interview, you'll see the interviews I had with many of the swimmers prior to the race, the day before the race. This is now 2 or 3 days after the race, which was incredible. And we're going to find out how to organize one and what it feels like now. Hello there.
Hi.
So what do you have to say about this past week?
It was amazing. It was, people were ecstatic. We had 140 swimmers.
From where?
From all over the place. A couple from California and Arizona and Puerto Rico and
Alaska?
Alaska didn't show, but
Really?
yeah, but that's okay.
It's too hot here for them.
But we do draw people from Alaska and both
The winter swim.
and for the summer swim. So we're on their radar, and I love it when the Alaskans come for the winter swim.
I'm signed up for that.
Yeah, oh good.
Nice. I'm practicing.
Yeah, we'll get you practiced.
Yeah.
You're part of the
every
Sharp
week.
Baked Chillas.
I know. I'm excited.
Yeah,
But-
so the race went really well. The weather couldn't have been perfect, or more perfect. And the people were generally totally positive about their experience.
I talked to them after because they were living at my house. 3 of the participants were living at my house for the event. And they've already competed all over the world. They've done everything everywhere. And they think this is a top rated. And it's the silver medalist of all outdoor swims in the world. And that's #1, isn't it? It's not #2. Silver's #1.
Silver was #2.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
slacker. No.
Yeah, yeah. No. What World Open Water Swimming Association had every year they have an annual awards, we received
Louder, Phil.
we received a silver medal for the best event in the world for 2023. And I got to say, it tells you something about the community support that people feel when they come to town.
Mm-hmm.
The kayaker and boat support makes it possible. We had good support from the city of Newport this past couple of years, and that's really helped me enormously and helped the swim itself. So people get that vibe that it's laid back, it's positive, challenging. Can be that you can leave your guts in the water, but we celebrate swimming, and they feel that, and I think that's why over the years Kingdom Swim is just beloved by so many.
It's the first year I've ever participated as a swimmer, and I had been swimming in 15 years, and I said, well, I'll just do the short one. And Kathleen, tell me about angel swimmers.
The angel swimmer is someone that guides a swimmer that is not necessarily as confident swimming. And
I just have no sense of direction. I had no idea where I was going.
And they have a lot of experience, and they also started out not confident swimming. As, you know, whatever age it was, whether it be young or whether they started at 30 years old. So they know exactly what it's like to not have the same kind of confidence that you might need to be able to swim that first 1 mile. But after you do that 1 mile and you've got that confidence, then you start to progress further and further. And that's what's so great about Kingdom Games is, you know, the Kingdom Swim has the quarter mile and the half mile and the 1 mile. And
You have a half mile? Not this year.
No, not
Nobody
this year.
signed up for it this year. Nobody signed up for it this year.
But
Yeah.
you have a triple crowner, or, you know, like Melissa Burrows.
She was my angel swimmer, and she
Right.
lived with me 4 years ago with her beloved. And they're getting married in the fall.
I can't.
What is this, contagious?
Maybe.
It's like, oh, what do you catch from swimming? Marriage. No, but tell us about Joe and Melissa.
They are some really successful swimmers that have an excellent attitude and are incredibly wonderful, just great-spirited people. And that describes a lot of the swimmers that come to these events.
For sure.
Joe started with the 10-mile swim,
I remember because he was living with me at that point.
and then he did the Border Buster. And when he did the Border Buster, I told him he was ready to do Memphis, the 25-mile swim in the lake. And boy, was he ever ready when he showed up.
He broke the record by 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Joe Inventino did it in 11 hours and 16 minutes, breaking the record by 11 minutes. And I grew up on this lake. I would never have thought to swim it in its entirety, although I was a distant swimmer before I moved to Vermont. There's nowhere for me to train here. And in the summer, training, it's like for 1 season. And so I've never gotten into it, but apparently I am now.
So,
Thanks to you guys.
Bill Peck and Bob Primo, 2 physicians in this area, they have swum the length of the lake in stages over the course of several years.
Oh, if I
Yes,
start now,
right.
I could be finished in the year 2025.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
No, 2027.
Yeah.
you could.
Well, I didn't know that. I know Bill Peck and I know Dr. Primo, and I had no idea. They're very modest men.
And Bill carves
The walking sticks.
4 walking
I
sticks
saw that
that we award. And he also sells walking sticks at MAC.
at the Mac Center. They're
Yeah.
gorgeous, folks. Get in there and just look at these beautifully honed walking sticks from all kinds of wood, made with love and respect for the tree, which is pretty darn nice.
Yeah, and that's one of the attractions of the swim that makes it a little unique, that we offer walking sticks. The other is roast beef jerky, just can't be beat.
Tell us about that, because I
Yeah.
saw that being passed out.
Yeah, and well, it in my opinion, it's the best beef jerky I've ever had.
Give her a plug.
Well, I'm giving them a plug. And they're in North Troy, or not North Troy, they're in Troy. And we've been getting their jerky in pounds. We bought 20 pounds of beef jerky for Kingdom Swim to give out as awards.
And what is the name of that processor?
Rose Slaughterhouses.
Oh, Bros!
Rose.
Of course, Bros! They used to sponsor the Optimist newspaper for me. They are the nicest people.
There you go.
B-R-E-A-U-L-T
No.
apostrophe S.
No. B-R-A-U-L-T.
What did I say?
B-R-E-A-U.
Oh, sorry. Bros. Troy. Fabulous.
Yeah. And so they do that. And then Jay Kuchar and Pauline, we get maple syrup from them. So the grand prize for the 10-mile and the Border Buster, the 25-kilometer Border Buster, is a gallon of maple syrup,
Wow.
a pound of beef jerky, and a walking stick.
That's the best kind of gift.
You know.
You can throw your trophies away, but you can definitely make that gallon of syrup last a minute or two, and the walking sticks, a lifetime of practicality.
But that's for all of Phil's events.
And,
That's what he gives.
Excellent.
and instead of trinket medallions, we have
Woodles.
engraved woodles, cedar wood medals made out of cedar wood, and you know, they're also distinctive.
And they're Vermont.
And
100%
they're
Vermont.
kingdom. And one of the things we try not to be anything but the kingdom. You know, we're laid back, we're good enough, we're not type A, but we do start our races on time.
Yep.
And we have support out there for people, and we take our swimming seriously, but ourselves not so much.
That's the way I feel around here for just about everything. I love living here for that reason. And somebody said to me, several people, but the kayaker who was living at my house, Howard, he was Gail's border buster kayaker.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I'm from just out of LA.
Yeah.
I now live in New Hampshire because my family lives, my children, my grandchildren are there. But when I come to this area, when I'm in New England, when I'm in Vermont, when I'm in the kingdom, he kept narrowing it down. I love it, I love it, I love it. I feel so much like it's the 1950s. The pace is different, the people are different. And we're not different, we just treat each other differently. We're all ambitious, we're all athletic, we're all doing our own thing privately, but when we get together, it feels like a warm bath. And it certainly was on Saturday. 77-degree water?
I'd say 75, but it might have been 77 in the 1 mile
Yeah.
area
It was comfortable as heck.
in Newport Bay. Yeah.
Very. And I was putting Vaseline on my body because I haven't been in the water in 15 years. I was afraid I'd die. I was afraid I'd freeze to death. And so I put so much Vaseline on it was like following the Exxon Valdez. I'm surprised that they weren't getting Dawn soap and washing on birds on the side of the river.
We did have a bottle of Dawn that we pulled behind you.
Thank you. It would have to be. But you just made it so nice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done it for anybody else because I knew I'd get the help.
Well, Dina really makes it possible.
Dina Gray.
Dina Gray at the East Side. They put on our banquets for the summer swim as well as the winter swim. And she does...
And the dandelion run.
And the dandelion, yeah. And she does a wonderful job. She can handle the size of us. And she's great to work with.
Oh yeah.
And-
Hardest working woman I've ever met.
Yep. And
Thanks, Nina, at the East Side.
and then the other nice thing we did this year was we used Freddy's Barbecue
Oh!
on the beach, and we had Eden Cider Tasting Room providing the booze tent.
Yeah, Felicia Updike and Carrie Schultz were working it.
Yep.
And they're lovely. They're part of the Young Professionals of Newport Young Professionals. And they are dynamite. And Felicia has just been given the job as Assistant Director of the Newport Downtown City Development, working with Rick Chase. I mean, Newport's going up like this. The kingdom's going up like this because of all these people. And the support that we're getting from the city for anything we want to do. I mean, I've been helped greatly by Rick Chase and Felicia.
Yeah.
Just doing what I do.
Yeah.
You want to start a business, you want this, you want that, well, let me get the key for this. Oh, your car was wrecked, let me go and find you another car. I mean, you just have no idea what a
it all
great
happened
area is.
Right at the same time. They all kind of descended right at the same time.
Needed.
Yeah.
The attitude of
Perfect.
Newport now is
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
And you've got your parade on the main street this year.
And last year.
And last year.
But we didn't have to pay for it this year, which was very nice.
Yeah, and you made a beautiful presentation to the mayor and the city councilors of a beautiful picture from the winter swim. I saw that on YouTube when you made the presentation, and I had tears running down my cheeks because it was such a...
Oh, and here's our,
That's
the
it.
next one.
I know, but it was just a beautiful idea. It's a give and take thing. It wasn't always easy to get things taken care of here. It wasn't always easy to get backing. There wasn't a lot of support. And you just hung in there until you got it, and we've got a different personality in charge now. The whole city council is working together now.
Linda Joy is amazing.
Yes, she was named correctly.
And she is a joy. She is
No,
beautiful.
I mean, in 2015, when we started the winter swim,
Yeah.
Newport Department of Parks and Recreation cut our first pool.
They sure did a great job.
And they did a great job. The ice was 3 feet thick, and they were exhausted when they finished. We were just learning how to do it. Couldn't have done it without them. We only had 41 people there to do it. Then the kind of management changed in Newport, and we didn't have that support. And so I got Mike Booth to cut the pool, and he did it for $2,000 the first year.
Mike Booth?
Yeah, Michael Booth, Jess Booth's husband. And he's been doing it ever since. And we couldn't have kept it going without his seeing what it was all about and really contributing.
He's an engineer for the state of Vermont, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's been terrific. And as we now have 175 people showing up, of course we pay him more, but he and City of Newport were responsible for getting us going. And we couldn't have gotten going without that kind of support. And then, along comes a new mayor, along comes our new city manager, along comes Rick Chase, and a responsive city council.
And we are
An
embraced.
optimistic group of people who say that the city is going places. Let's go together.
Yeah.
It is a joy to be working with them. Often it isn't a lot, but one of the things I've talked to Rick about is that Kingdom Games is kind of at a level that is comfortable for me. It's not going to be the big Ironman level, with thousands. It's not going to be the Burlington City Marathon with thousands. Newport couldn't handle that many people. But it's consistently a good clump of people, coming from all over the world and seeing Newport. And I advertise and promote through, different, very specific magazines and organizations.
Oh, I used to write for New England Runners magazine.
Yeah, and so I reach out to them. But one of the things that I said I've been saying for a while, but Rick picked it up quickly. I said, if you're trying to promote, and you are trying to promote Newport as a hub of recreational activity,
Four seasons.
a hub of recreational activity, then Newport should, at least to some extent, promote itself as the home of Kingdom Games.
Definitely.
Doesn't necessarily help me and my numbers, but does it help, promote a sense of what Newport is about? And it does. And we've started a joint advertising campaign with that as the focus.
Fantastic.
That it's Newport, the home of Kingdom Games, and it could be Newport, the home of the sailing center. It could be Newport, the home of, aquatics. Whatever's going on.
A subset of Kingdom Games could be anything, but to maintain that as the headline is very important because it says it all. Kingdom Games are what games? It could be checkers, but people will come for games.
Well, I've thought about that. I tell you, if you find a population that is totally intent on what they're doing, and you put on a world-class checkers tournament, or what we have, a world-class swimming
event.
Yeah.
they will travel from all over for it if it's done well and if it's done right. And then what I see is when they come to Newport, first time they're in and out in a blink. And then the next time they're in a few days early and out a few days later, and then the next time they're here with friends and family. And I call it the great return.
Yeah,
the great return.
It's fabulous. Every time you have an event, my house is full. I have repeat from the winter swim. And Scott came alone the first year, and he modeled his funny hat for me, and it was hilarious. And
that's a fierce competition.
it's a fierce competition, and then he swam and then he came home and he went right to bed. He said, I didn't think it would take so much out of me. He lives in a yurt in some other, on the Vermont, New Hampshire border, and he didn't think it would take anything out of him because he's trained, he washes in the river, you know, and everything. Went to bed, bounced out of bed, went to your event in the evening. Next year, brings a girlfriend. And you know, and it's like, and I say, are you going to do it to his girlfriend? She said, well, no, I'm not. As she watches him do it, she comes back to the house and
I'm going to do it.
well, are you going to do it? And I said, yes, I'm going to do it. And she said, well, we'll talk. You know, but she hasn't committed, but the fact that it's contagious.
It is.
And the rate I got contagious because I saw a video that you had done with a drone.
Yeah.
And I was very emotional because I was a distance swimmer and I grew up on this lake and I have neglected swimming. And you brought it back to me in my soul.
You need to watch the main Cold Tits, Warm Hearts video, and that will...
And will you say that again, please?
You need to watch the Cold Tits, Warm Hearts.
I see.
From Maine.
It's a group of swimmers
Yeah.
in Maine.
Oh, of course, I've heard of them.
Yeah.
Purinjot Kaur is one of their
Yeah.
leaders.
That
Purinjot Kaur.
she's going to the international ice swimming in Italy this year. So we have probably 5 or 6 of our people that come to the winter swim that have been chosen because the United States has 20 or 40 slots for the United States to represent the United States, and they're going to be going to Italy this year. Last year they went to Virginia, and the year before that it was in France. And every year they have so many slots for each country to go and represent their country in the international ice swimming.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I'll send you Purinjot's, their video.
Oh, I would love to see that.
Oh, that was...
And how good do you have to be to qualify?
Well, you have to swim, I think you have to have done an ice mile.
Yeah,
A mile?
mile.
Yeah,
In
nice mile.
temperature that's under 5 centigrade.
That would be about 40 degrees
Yeah.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
And I like the way you describe the ice water that we have here. It's not slush, it's just molecules of frozen bits.
Yeah, it's microscopic slushy. It's 30.
Microscopic slushy, you can have that at Tim and Doug's if you really order one now.
It won't stay slushy though.
No, microscopic
Not
slushy.
yeah.
And that's what what I did to train. I got a clawfoot tub
Yeah?
from Wayfair, 57 inches long and 2 or 3 feet deep, or 2 feet deep. And I filled it up with hose water.
Yeah.
And I got it on July 4th. And I've been training in my tub.
Yeah.
And basically it's been so hot that it's like getting out of a sauna into that. So it's going to be a gradual training process
yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
But I did, remember that sled that
Yes,
we trained?
yes.
I gave you a painting for a sled?
Yeah. You gave us a rock.
A rock.
It was right up there. Can you see it?
Oh, yes.
So
I
it's
traded
okay.
out a rock painting for this fantastic
Yeah.
8-inch deep sled that I filled up with water. And I got to stay in there. I did stay in there 4 minutes.
Wow. That's
But
good.
after a sauna, which is
So-
cheating.
So now, yeah,
Never
it is
right,
cheating.
right, not right out of the.
Well, we start training in September.
Okay, I will be with you. And another thing I did to train, I said, well, the snow is so gorgeous, but we don't have much of it anymore. So I opened up my back door and start naked. I said,
Yeah.
I'll just roll in the snow and see what it
Now, a
feels
lot of
like.
people do that.
Feels like without a sauna.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little bit of a grade, and my body melted the snow on the way down. And I was sliding down, and I didn't even know it was a grade. And then I couldn't get back up, and I was stark naked in the middle of Newport, going, "Well, this isn't fun. This could be a problem." I didn't think I'd have to go around to the front of the house.
Every time we pass your house, I always say, Phil, I wonder what Heather's
I
doing.
wonder why there's so many police sirens.
Oh my God! I should sell tickets. They live such a stupid life.
That was a beautiful life. I saw the TV you got built next to your painting studio.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh. Yeah.
I see your TVs everywhere.
Yes, I like teepees. It's a great way to clean
You
up.
have to
the
see
earth.
mine I built for Silas over
I
beside
will.
the house.
And I always put mirrors in the teepees,
Yeah?
so when people go into a teepee, they can reflect.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And it also provides a little light.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I lived in the TV for the summer of 1973 in Westford,
And what was the purpose of that?
to live someplace.
That's nice.
Yeah, and I worked in Burlington, and so did my girlfriend, and
You've had many girlfriends.
I know he
a
has.
few.
It took you a while to find Kathleen. And she played hard to get for many years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There is
Wow.
value in that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I feel very honored.
And so should we. You do.
I do.
It's a nice thing to see
It's
you working
a
together.
happy phase.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to see you working together, building more for the swimmers and each other.
It's a good life.
Yeah.
It's good life.
And your life is from a different planet,
Yeah.
and your life is from this planet. But you're an interplanetary being. I've always thought so. And I went to your Tipsy Talk. Folks, we have Tipsy Talks at Jasper's
Yes.
and other places.
We'll be
like
returning to
Pie and
Jasper's.
Pasta, not Pie and Pasta, but that wonderful place that everybody goes to.
Oh, the
in
Tea
Glover.
Bar.
No, you're thinking
In
of
Glover.
Oh,
Parker Pie.
Parker Pie.
Parker Pie. And your speech, we thought we were going to hear all about the swim, but we heard about what it was like to be a prosecuting attorney. And where to hold your beer if you're driving. So you bring your personalities to this swim, to the area.
And we have a whole week of swimming coming up.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Phil.
We swim
8 lakes.
8 lakes over the course of 9 days. I think we won't be able to swim in Island Pond.
Because we
That's-
just had floods.
Yeah, and but I think the other lakes are swimmable. We're going to check that out tonight.
And what's the distance in each lake, or does it matter?
Well, the first day it's 5, Crystal, beautiful lake, beautiful beach. It's 5 miles. In Island Pond, we swim to Barton Beach and back from the town dock. We won't do that this year, but that's 4 miles. Then we go to Seymour, and we swim from the, it probably isn't a beach there now, but we'll swim from the road to the concrete wall at the south end of it, and then back, and that's a marathon distance of 6.2. And then we do 2 loops around Echo, which is a beautiful lake.
Yeah.
And I don't know what its condition is right now, but it's high in the watershed, and it's as Echo and Seymour are just pristine lakes. One time I was covering a swim, and it was a hot day, and I spilled my water, and I said, I started babying up in my mind, oh, it's going to be hot, my throat is going to get dry, and I'm going to be miserable. And then I said, Philip, you stupid shit. You're floating on the pristine lake. So I just stuck my water bottle in and filled up and drank from the lake for the rest of the day.
There you go.
And so I love Echo, and it's really nestled in those hills there. It's a beautiful location. It's under, you don't appreciate it in terms of how elegant it is, but it's a beautiful lake. And the Revards have picked up more golf balls off the bottom of the lake, like 35.
We'll get back to the 1 week of swimming. People from all over the country are coming, and other countries. So that's another good thing for our economy. We haven't really touched on the economy. The Rivard girls, there are 2, with an amazing mom who supports them greatly, I can't even tell you the distance, but when I was talking to one of them the other day, she said she was training now to think of swimming the 50 miles of Lake Magog, 25 up, 25 back. It's only been done by that one young man, right?
A couple people have done it.
No, Sarah Thomas did it
Yeah.
first, and she ended up quadruple crossing the English Channel.
Yeah.
And
She's a
she
premier.
and she swam 105 miles in Lake Champlain for that. But yeah, she did it first, and then Steve Rao, who was here being inducted into the Vermont Swimmers Hall of Fame.
That will be on the show that follows this. It's all taped, and after this interview, it might be another separate show, but it will be on NEK-TV, and it's an induction into the Hall of Fame of several people, including the Rivard girls, passing one towel to another. There's a reason for that. So I'm going to skip ahead to the economy.
Well, don't pass over Willoughby,
No,
because we then go to swim here and then swim Willoughby one way or two ways. And that is, you know,
Stunning.
a beautiful, beautiful swim. And then we end up at Caspian. So that's the swim week.
and where does everybody, there are 140 swimmers coming?
No.
Oh wait, I saw the sheet, maybe.
No, there were
40.
100, yeah, we have 50 swimmers coming to the swim week. We had 140 swimmers at the Kingdom Swim.
Okay. So that's a week of absolute influx of dollars into this area from the swimmers.
Coming off the back of Kingdom Swim.
Yeah, so ka-ching, I hate to say it, but when you can bring some people together from out of state who love what we have here, totally respect these two, respect the lakes that they're swimming in, seeing them sometimes for the first time.
Oh, they love it here.
They want to come back, they want to bring their families, and these are good people, they're athletes, and I mean,
We have one woman that
that
comes back every other year, and she is a diplomat. And she is, she's a diplomat in a foreign country that is a very arid country, and she loves it here, and she wants to live here because she comes back every year to swim. And, you know, a lot of people that come here, they come here because they want to buy here, because it's such a beautiful place, and they love the people here.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
And they don't want to change us.
No, they want us to accept them.
And they're very, because they train hard and they're extreme athletes, it's a different mentality. And Phil and I talked just a little bit before the taping. I say Phil can be considered an extreme intellectual athlete because he made it through law school. And he says, yeah, I pulled a few all-nighters. Well, basically, when you're an endurance athlete, when you train, we pull all-nighters. If you're training for a 100K run, 62-mile run, or a 24-hour run, or anything like that, or a triathlon, it's a different mentality. And I think those athletes really respect everybody a little bit more than the average bear, because they know what pain is, they know what suffering is, they know what sacrifice is. Their sacrifice becomes their investment. And, you know, when they come into town, it's just phenomenal. They're generous because they want to support us too.
They also have a gritty determination that is not rare to find in residents of the Northeast Kingdom.
True.
You know, there's a similar, you know, fist in the face of the challenge kind of thing. And
Pretty much get through anything. And some friends of mine, over the last few months, I've had friends from Canada, from people I went to school with, to my stepsister, to various other people coming. It just seemed to be a regular thing. And I love them all dearly, but they can't understand my way of life. I stack my wood, I do this, I do that, you know. There's nothing.
And you are an expert wood stacker. You get your wood stacked in one freaking day.
One day this year, because I only had 2 cords.
Jesus.
well,
2 days
you're
or 4.
talking to the
You're doing
master,
great. I
master
love that.
woodstacker.
Nah.
But the fact is that they wake up in the morning and they don't get started. They just don't get started, and it's hard for me because I'm chomping at the bit. You know, I get up at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, I do my 4-hour bike ride or my rowing machine, and
We've seen you go by.
All the time.
and people see me go by. I don't have a life. I just keep going.
No, you have a beautiful life.
But when they come here, they want that kind of a life. But when I see people who aren't training for anything or who have never trained, when they get to my age, which is much older than you are, but when they get to my age, I look at them and it's like pulling teeth to get them to really engage in to commit to an activity.
Oh, God.
You know, and I just say, thank God I live in Vermont, where you have to do these things to survive.
Clint Eastwood has a great,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what does Clint say?
as he was getting older and people were saying, you know, how do you how do you do what you do? He says, you can't let the old guy in.
Old man
Old man in.
That, right.
And every day the old
Well, I haven't let
man.
any man in for a long time,
Well, anybody out there? But when the old man knocks on the door, and he does, you got to say, not today,
not today.
not today.
And I feel the same way about my age. And then I say, what's going to happen when I'm 99 if I can't stack wood? And I was talking to somebody who was in her 90s. She said, well, you just bring in less every day. You just bring in a few every day, or you go out there 10 times. But
you get it done.
You get it done, but you don't have to do it all in one time.
Yeah.
And I went, thank you. It's a great load off my mind.
No, that you pace yourself. That's what you got to do.
Phil showed me up. He was had to dig a trench out there, and he told me, look, all you got to do is this. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I can't do that. I can't do that kind of work. And he went out there and did it. And I was like, all right, fine.
Yeah. Well, have you done it?
No, he didn't.
Well, that's good. It's so handy having a man around the house that he has a shovel. On the other hand, I'm out there digging my own trenches. Anyway, we're off the subject of swimming, but you get to know these people a little better, and we have to be extremely thankful for Phil and Kathleen and all the volunteers that come to help the swimmers.
All the volunteers.
And, all the buoys out there on the lake, when you see them, you know that Phil and Kathleen have another swim going that is bringing an uplift to our economy and an uplift to the area. Because yes, they all want to move here, but very few of them really do. But we can seduce them gradually, and then they take that word out. And it is a destination spot. It is a great destination spot. The Kingdom, I grew up 6 miles from here across the lake. And no matter where I've lived in the world, I ended up back here, the luckiest person ever. And I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. And I know when they leave, they hate leaving, but Phil and Kathleen bring them back. They can't come back and live here, all of them. Some of them actually have jobs, but
I like to say, love to see you come, love to see you go.
Well, because they all come in
They come,
great big numbers.
but they come back, and that is one thing that watching the Great Return is really nice. Whether they're returning for a week instead of a couple of days, they don't have to buy places.
no.
They're just savoring the Kingdom, and I think it replenishes them because they live in
I've heard that.
they live in areas of a much higher stress.
Yeah.
Not that we don't have our stresses, not that we don't have our challenges, but they're a different kind. They're just not new age stresses. They're getting through a cold winter. I mean, there's always a battle in January
Yeah.
to survive. I don't care who you are. Something's going to break down in January, and you're going to be at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to, fix a pipe or something like that.
Oh yeah. Oh, no.
But it's a different level of stress, and I think come for the swim week, it's restorative,
It is.
and you can see it on their on their faces that they kind of leave with a greater sense of center.
I couldn't have said it better. That is exactly how I feel, what I get from them, but I didn't know how to say it.
No, just one of many.
What I'm going to do, but that's exactly right. There used to be a bumper sticker, welcome to Vermont, now go home. And they don't get that feeling.
Jay Peak, it's a terrible place to ski.
No,
Don't tell your friends.
Jay Peak sucks. Tell your friends.
Yeah, that's right, because they didn't want all the traffic on the hill.
Yeah.
Once people discover Vermont, they can't get away from it though in their minds. It's when I was living, believe it or not, I lived in Oklahoma for 5 years. I lived in Chicago for 3 years, and I was getting the Vermont Life magazine, and I would actually cry.
Yeah.
I would actually cry and say, I've got to get back. I've got to get back. And it took a head injury to get me back. But it was the luckiest. I don't recommend head injuries for people, but I had a really bad car accident and ended up with, not that you can tell, but I ended up milking cows on a dairy farm in Franklin County with my 2 little ones. And I got better. And the people of Vermont never asked me questions about what's wrong with you. 5 years later, I'm at the general store in that village, and somebody comes in and says, well, the owner of the store said, hey, you hear about old Gregoire last night? Stupid idiot went out in the woods by himself, you know, and he got hit in the head by a tree because he was a logger.
Mhm.
Should never go out alone like that. Would never be the same. And I said, excuse me, but when I came to Vermont 5 years ago, I had a head injury. And they all looked around. They said, yeah, we thought there was something. But then I said, but you never asked me what was wrong. And they said, well, you didn't appear to want to tell us. So they gave me my dignity.
Yeah, and your space.
And they gave me my dignity to get better. They made me believe in myself again. They gave me all sorts of reasons to, that they believed in me. Whenever I wanted to do something, if I came up with an idea, the town backed me. The farmer would occasionally throw ball peen hammers in my general direction when I was doing something wrong. But he was extremely good to me. And that's Vermont. And I thank the Lord and God and the universe and every possible deity for the fact that I live here now. And I'm also grateful that I had the head injury, which forced me to come back here and humble myself and learn from the Vermonters. And that is a gift.
You know, it's funny, one of our swimmers is a guy named Craig Deeps. He was born without arms or legs, stumps. And early on in his childhood, he rejected the efforts to give him prosthetics. He said, no, I'm good. And his father and mother taught him how to ride a bike with his stumps. They taught him how to shoot a gun. They taught him how to bowl with his stumps because he could do it in different ways. And he learned to swim, and he had a fin, a flipper, that he duct taped to one of his stumps on his leg, and he would undulate through the water. And he came out two different years and did 10K swims.
Fantastic.
And I mean, I've seen a lot of things that inspire, just gotta inspire you when you're watching them happen before your very eyes, you
Yeah.
know. And but he gave a talk. The first year it was a big deal. Craig Deeps was growing up. I talked to him the second time when he registered. I said, we can either make you a big deal or we don't have to. You know, I'd just like to come up and swim. Okay, you're not a big deal. You're just another fucking swimmer.
Yeah.
And but when he was giving his talk, he said a lot of people come up to him and tell him how happy how good it was to hear his story because they thought they had it bad, but now they don't think they have it quite as bad. And he said,
That's the wrong thing to say.
Right, of course. And he would look at them and he'd say simply, look, if some genie came out of a bottle and said I could be born again with arms and legs and lead that kind of life, but I would have to lose my memory of all the joy I've experienced in my life so far, I would say no.
Yeah.
And the guy is happily married, he's got a kid, he does his home doesn't have any handicap accessible, he just works his way up the stairs to his house, and he is
He's complete.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And he's surrounded by people who love him, and he's surrounded by adventures that challenge him,
That's what I love.
you know, and
Well, there are people like that in the world, and we are lucky to know them.
I didn't know you were one of them.
Oh, yeah, but like I said,
Now I do.
yeah, it's an interesting life, but one road leads to another.
Oh, yeah.
One door closes, 10 doors open. I mean, which one do you choose? They're all so great.
Yeah.
I mean, I always say I'm going to live to be 140 and then be shot by a jealous wife. I think the 140 is realistic, but the other isn't. And there's just so much you want to do. And you don't want to miss anything. Right?
Speaking of the devil.
Yeah, well, I guess that's a show. Don't you think so, Madame? Do you think that's
This
a
is
show?
Tito, our little puppy dog.
Yeah.
90 pounds of little puppy.
Yeah, if you find him on the bike path, his number is, Phil's number's on his tag.
But I don't answer my phone, so.
So you keep the dog.
No.
Anyway, thanks for watching Life is Good. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Phil. Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you for the King watching them swim. I appreciate it. Well, I'm going to go home and soak in my cold tub so I can be ready for next February's winter swim. Thanks for watching us, and what show will follow either separately or immediately hereafter will be interviews with some of the swimmers who came from out of state and other countries. They talked to me at Dina Gray's East Side restaurant before they ate, before the safety meeting, and by God, they were tickled pink, and they couldn't believe they were here. They were so thrilled. So thanks for watching, and see you all in the water.